Welcome to Adventures in Alchemy, a podcast filled with witchy tips and true stories to inspire your magical life. I am Michelle Martin Dobbins, the creator of Daily Alchemy and the Adventures in Alchemy podcast. This podcast is supported by the Daily Alchemy Premium Members Lab. I don't run a Patreon, so I keep membership at a very economical $11.11 a month. For that, you not only help sponsor this podcast, but you will receive access to 14 alchemy courses, and we add a new course each quarter, access to Reiki Level 1, 2, and Master's training and distance attunements, plus a library of audio distance Reiki healings, monthly alchemical experiments, PDFs of all my books and planners, and 15% off of everything else I sell. Also, there's a members-only Facebook group, so we can chat amongst ourselves in a private community. So when you join, I do ask that you commit to 3 months, since you are able to access and download all of the content immediately. It's $33.33 for the first 3 months, and then $11.11 every month after. I am so grateful to all the premium members who support my work, and I'd love to have you as a premium member too. If you're not already one, you can go to DAPM Lab, that stands for Daily Alchemy Premium Members Lab, dapmlab.com to check it out, or there'll be a link in the show notes. Now, on with the show, and may it be a blessing to all who listen. Hey guys, I wanted to pop in here on today's episode, probably be kind of a short one. Definitely have an action step for you to take today. But we want to talk a little bit about how to meditate when you're stressed. And I've had some discussions recently with a lot of spiritual practitioners of all kinds, and I've been surprised that not as many of them have a daily meditation practice as I would have thought, or a lot of them meditation is the first to go out the window when times get tough or you get stressed. And that makes sense to me. It totally does, because I've done that in the past too. And I won't lie and say that I don't sometimes still. But I've learned that meditation is like the one thing that you can do that will make the biggest difference. You can pull a daily card, or you can talk to your ancestors, but that's kind of a form of meditation, I think. There are lots of things you can do. You can light a candle, and everything starts to come back to meditation. I'm like, light a candle. Of course, if you just light the candle and walk away, but if you light it and sit there for a few minutes and focus on the candle. The reason I will really want you to meditate is because it's that thing that changes you. It's such a big part of any magical practice, whether you be focused on law of attraction or witchcraft or chaos magic or whatever you do. Meditation is so, so powerful. And there are so many ways to meditate. In the Daily Alchemy Premium Members Lab, there is a class that has like 12 very different techniques on meditation, and it's just like the tip of the iceberg. So I'm going to give you 2 really, really simple meditations that you can do, especially when you're stressed and your brain is bopping around and you can't get quiet. But a lot of times we resist those things that are going to make the biggest change in our life. And meditation is definitely one. And there are lots of people who will tell you need to be in lotus position with your hands in a certain mudra, and you definitely need to do it for an hour or you didn't do it. And I say you just need to do it enough to connect and make a change for yourself. And I think it would be better to meditate for 3 minutes a day, every day, or at least 5 out of 7 days, than to meditate for an hour once a week. To grow a habit, grow a practice. And once you're in that habit, you can stretch it out a little bit more and a little bit more. And here's the thing. The goal of meditation is not to spend as much time in meditation as you can. is to spend enough time in meditation to feel grounded, to feel peace of mind, to feel connected with the source, the animus mundi, the source of everything, the void, the where everything comes from, because that's where your energy, where your life force, where creativity comes from. And it's so much easier to be creative when you can tune into that. I know probably a lot of you have the same experience of me, as like you're taking a walk or you're in the shower and stuff, and ideas just pop and flood into your head, right? And if you meditate, you probably have that too. Sometimes I get torn because I'll sit down to meditate and then, like, actually, I did that this morning and I set the intention that by the time I got to the end of the meditation, I would have an idea for a podcast. And lo and behold, like 5 minutes into meditation, the idea popped up. So, what I decided to do was stop my meditation there and come and record this for you. And then I'll come back and probably sit for another 5 or 10 minutes. I have my grandkids right now, so it depends on when they wake up if I do it like right now this morning. But you can do meditation just for the sake of meditating, which is great. But a lot of us who live in a really busy life, we tend to do it more for the outcome. And I think that is fine too. Other people may not agree. But for me, if I can meditate for 5 minutes and I can feel peaceful and I can feel grounded and I can feel connected to source, then I met my goal for that meditation. If longer sessions, you can definitely get into deeper states of relaxation and deeper connection, and great things happen from those too. But if I have to choose one of the two, I'd rather you do a short one every day. I have a blog post that I go back to time and time again. And I think I even made a short podcast episode on it too. But it's basically having one core practice. You can do tons of things magically, spiritually, and that's wonderful. But it's also like, for me, I feel like the thing that is great is to have one thing that you do every day. Because sometimes we get excited in the spiritual practice and we want to do like 20 things every day. And then we get overwhelmed and we feel bad because we didn't do all 20 of them. So we don't do any of them. So I always encourage people just to have one core practice. And the core practice that I often recommend, and I'll put a link in the show notes because I think it's the first giveaway that I ever did. How to get your happy back, I think maybe is what I called it. But it has some different steps you can take. But the main step is one of the two kinds of meditations that I'm going to talk to you about that you can do when you're stressed. Because the world has a lot of things going on. And by the time this comes out, it will probably have even more if 2020 is staying on the same path. And so I think that when you're stressed is the most important time to meditate, but it can also be the most difficult time to meditate because your mind is rushing and you're thinking about things, you're worrying about things, you're anxious about things. So I'm going to get into the two kinds, and you can try both and see what works for you the best. One is the one that is in the Get Your Happy Back, the free one. And there is like a guided thing that guides you through this. And it's definitely a practice. And so you'll get better and better at it as you do it, but you really only have to do it for a few minutes at a time. And so this practice is the practice of really just tuning in to what is happening inside your body and how you physically feel it, right? And it's great to do this practice. For lots of years, this was my go-to meditation, and I still come back to it, but I would do it every morning before I got out of bed. I would do it every evening as I was going off to sleep, and then throughout the day. But it's just basically feeling what is going on inside of your body. So feeling any sensations, a lot of times also feeling the sensations caused by emotions. If you're feeling anger, how does that feel in your body? How does it manifest? Can you feel it in your elbow? Do you feel it tightening in your throat? And just tuning out the thoughts and just focusing very heavily on the sensations in your body. And this is a great way to process emotions, and it can be very, very calming. I recommend when people do it, they actually kind of step outside them. Well, I recommend that you feel your body, but then you also have a part of you that's there that is like stepping outside of yourself, kind of in a meta way, like your higher self, kind of visualizing that higher self being there and saying, okay, this is really for more if you're feeling something that doesn't feel good. It's great to feel the feelings that feel good or just what's there, but stepping out there and saying, hey, I'm there for you. Metaphorically, patting yourself on the shoulder, giving yourself a hug and saying, oh, this feels really bad, to feel stressful and to feel anxious and to feel this in the pit of our stomach or a throbbing in our head or whatever you're feeling. So that's really good for when you're feeling feelings that don't feel good. But there's a funny thing that happens when we practice doing this. And that's why I like to practice doing it in the morning and in the evening when maybe your feelings aren't quite as anxious. Maybe they are, especially during this time period, but just tuning in and feeling what's there. And then if you're feeling quite stressful or lots of emotions are coming up for you, it's great to just practice getting away. Like if you feel yourself getting stressed, getting overwhelmed, getting angry, frustrated, anything like that, just go sit somewhere for 2 or 3 minutes and feel that in your body. And I like to keep feeling the sensations and noticing them until I can kind of notice the vibration of them, right? Because we're energetic beings and everything vibrates, including us. And different emotions and feelings have different vibrations. So as you can kind of feel those, they will shift. And they tend to shift in a way that makes you feel better. The trick is not to try to make them shift. When you try to make them shift, it doesn't work. But when you just feel it and you're just like, oh, okay, this is what's happening in my body right now. This is what I'm feeling right now. This is what the vibration of my body feels like right now. And it's making my feet hurt, my tummy hurt, my head hurt, or I feel bliss. You can even do I feel blissful. And a lot of times when you do that and you're feeling good, you'll even shift and feel better. But it's just letting it be what it is, not trying to hold on to it, not trying to push it away, just letting it be. And that's when it shifts because everything shifts. We're always in flux. So that is one of my favorite forms of meditation. You don't have to hold your hands in any particular mudra. You don't have to sit in any position. You can even do it standing. You can do it in the bathroom. I do it a lot. I used to do it when I was working, and sometimes I still do it because I have kids, and the bathroom is a quiet place when you're stressed. So you can do it in the bathroom with the door closed, and you can just take a breath and tune in and feel where your body is and what sensations are happening inside your body. And just that is the meditation, just tuning in and feeling that and being with it. And when you get to where you're going out and you're thinking about the thoughts that are causing the sensations in your body, then you just remind yourself to feel back in to feeling how your body feels. And so that's why I recommend, especially when you first start doing it, just do it for 2 or 3 minutes and then maybe 4 or 5 minutes. This isn't a meditation that you have to do for a long time ever. It's just a short tune in, but it can make a huge shift in how you feel, especially right there in that moment. And then later on, if those feelings come up again, you can do this meditation again. You can do this meditation anytime because there's always something happening inside your body that you can tune into and just listen and feel. So that is one of my favorite ones to do in a time of stress. The next one is for people who have a hard time sitting still when they're stressed. So it's just a very, very simple walking meditation, right? You just walk and you put your one foot down. You put your heel down first, and then you kind of roll up to your toe, and then your next foot just like right in front of it, heel to toe, walking, just slowly walking. Sometimes I do this in the park in my neighborhood. And you just go very slowly and you just focus on every step. You focus on the heel going down and rolling up to the toe and the next step. And it's just basically a simple, simple walking mindfulness meditation. And so you're focusing on each slow, deliberate heel to toe step. And yeah, just doing a very, very simple walking. Those are just two that are really easy to tune in when you're stressed. I mean, I know it's not easy necessarily to tune in when you're stressed, but when you're stressed, it's such an important time to meditate, but it's also a time that we don't necessarily want to, because when we meditate, we open ourselves up to source, to that void where all things come from. And I think we open ourselves up to actually feeling what's happening. And sometimes we want to run from that when we're stressed. But the opposite is what's really going to help us. If we can feel and process the feelings that we're having and just taking that time to get quiet and ground in. And we'll notice when we do these things that we're supported, even when we don't think that we're supported. The earth is supporting us, Mother Nature is supporting us, our own bodies, our higher self are supporting us. I believe our ancestors and spirit guides are supporting us. So even if you don't feel supported by any other people in the world, or you're filled with fear or rage or frustration or overwhelm, there is always support. And the best way that I know of to tap into that support is to get quiet and meditate. Even if you don't do it in the traditional way, just taking some time to get quiet and tune in is some of the best stress relief there is. So if you're not doing it, I highly, highly recommend a practice of just some kind of meditation as many days a week as you can. Like I said, even if you set your timer for 3 minutes and do it for 3 minutes, it makes a difference. So give it a whirl. Try either the meditation where you tune into your body, and I'll put a link to that little kit that I have online that's free, or do a simple walking meditation. And if you want to learn some new cool ways to meditate, you can check out the Daily Alchemy Premium Members Lab. It's very economical, $11.11 a month, and there are like 15 classes. Currently, we're doing practical magic, but all of the classes are available instantly when you become a member. You can go through that whole meditation class that's on there at any given point in time. All right, guys, I'm sending you my love. I am sending you Reiki and lots of de-stress thoughts. And I'll just close out by saying, may we be change-making descendants. And it looks like a lot of change-making is happening. And even though sometimes these change-making things can look crazy and scary, it looks like, at least I believe, we're going in a good direction, a better direction. So yeah, let's be change-making descendants and future exalted ancestors, and let's live magically in the now. All right, much love till next time.